Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our Wednesday meditation gathering. It's wonderful to see you all. I'm so glad you're all here. This week we have Ruth White, who will lead us in meditation, and then we'll have 20 minutes of silence. After that, we're going to open it up for sharing, and we end at 10:45. Over to you, Ruth. Ruth, you have to take yourself off of mute.
Well, that's a good start. Muting is a gift. It's a wonderful. Am I on screen?
You are.
Oh, thank you. I'm not. That's it. Yes, muting. That's silence. That's stillness, which is there available to us all the time. Gets covered over, doesn't it, by this ego mind, the left brain. And as Deepak Chopra said, our body is our greatest ally in our work. It's our greatest ally. It's always present. I asked the monks, Maharishi, that's the chap I've been talking about, that's coming next Wednesday. I asked him a question. Are all our problems solved by coming into the present moment? Into the stillness and the quiet of the present moment? And he said, there are no problems. Don't make them real. So silence is the answer. Just muting that left brain. It's in every martial art, the true martial art. You know, the Dantian, it's usually about here where our power chakra is. And we call it the stillness, the oneness. And returning to that, just to remember, is what it's all about. Yes. But in truth, there are no problems. We are spirit, whole and innocent. All is forgiven and all released. I love that mantra. Yes. So it's only in this stillness that we can be aware of miracles happening. They're happening all the time. I'm sure you had a few happening over Easter. Just a simple little one I had was I was at my daughter's and the whole family were there, all three children with their children. And I was determined to do some gardening because their creepers were creeping everywhere and rather overshadowing the flowers. And so I went out because I love gardening with this idea in mind, step ladders and clippers. And the whole family came out and said, no, Granny, don't cut our creepers, you know. And I immediately felt the wind taken out of my sails and my ego mind said, okay, then I just won't do any gardening. But I saw how stupid that was and I would be the sufferer because I like being out there. So the reply came out, well, it's your garden, just however you want it. And I was fine with that. But there was that little moment when the silence disappeared and I went into my, you know, okay, I won't do anything at all then. Yes. It's just seeing it, isn't it? Yes. So, using the body as a tool, I'd like to prepare us for meditation. And that's all yoga is. It's preparing us so that through these postures that we perform, and they're for anybody, whatever your ailment. I taught people in wheelchairs and blind people, deaf people. They're for anybody. By preparing the body through the postures to be able to sit quietly, still, present, without physical interruption. And physical and mental, you can't separate them. So when the mind quietens down, the body is still, or the other way around. When the body's still, the mind, even the eyes still, the mind quietens down. So, are you sitting comfortably? Can you push your bottom into the back of the chair? Yes? Now in yoga, well, in everything, but we have names for these centers of energy, the chakras. And there's a base chakra, which lies just above and in front of the anus. And we feel that drawing up. It's a little sort of tightening so that you feel wide. Your width of your hips is narrowed down as you pull up. From pubis to sacrum is narrowed down, made thinner as you lift. Your weight is balanced equally. You're not leaning to one side. And you're certainly not leaning back. And then we creep up behind the navel, lifting. Behind the breastbones, the heart literally lifts up. It's almost like a thought that manifests. Yes, a thought that lifts up. And even behind the eyes, we're lifting up. Yes, from the center of the head, we're lifting up. No limit, out of the top of the head. Good. And yet we feel anchored down. Our feet are on the floor. You can lean away from the chair, but don't lean forwards like that. Just hinge from the hips, the top of the legs. Yes. Shoulder blades are slipping down the back. The collarbones are rolling up. And the chin is retracting. It's not dropping the head like that to meditate. It's drawing the chin back. So the spine from the base of the skull to the tailbone is straight. Well, none of us have perfect spines, but as straight as and balanced so that you're in your center. Good. 3 deep breaths. Hands just resting on your lap. Shoulders down. Good. Exhale completely. Take a slow, deep breath in, the whole of the ribcage, widening right up to the armpits, to the side walls. Collarbones rolling up. Good. Moments pause before you exhale. No collapsing. Keep the height. Exhale, exhale. And again, in your own time, feel the whole ribcage expanding away from the center, even the back ribs, the space between them increasing. Up to the very brim. A moment's pause. Not lifting the chin, keep the chin in. And slowly controlled exhalation, further than you normally go, exhaling. Wonderful. And as you inhale, the whole rib cage expands and widens right up to the very top, under the collarbones, ribs there. Feel the length on the front body from the pubis to the top of the breastbones, and slowly exhale. Good. And we'll go quietly into our meditations. If you'd like a point of reference, I suggest the Ajna Center, which is just below the center of the forehead, into the head itself, resting the attention there. If it wavers, just gently bring it back, one pointed attention.
Open your eyes slowly and come back into the room. We have 17 minutes left for sharing your reflections and your questions. If you'd like to speak, raise your hand or use the reactions button at the bottom of the screen, and I'll invite you to take yourself off of mute. And if you'd like to ask Ruth a question or comment with confidentiality, put your message in the chat function at the bottom of the screen, and I'll read it out. Who'd like to share? Linda.
Thank you, Ruth, for that. It was lovely, absolutely. Yeah, just what I needed. But the one thing that you immediately struck out at me was your sharing your slight irritation and recognizing it. And I'm beginning to recognize my irritations much quicker now and to let them go. So I love your sharing of that because it makes you one of us.
Yes, we're human, aren't we? It's the way we learn.
Yes.
But it's the beginning of letting it go, isn't it? You've got to see it first. You've got to be present.
Yes.
And you've got to be present now, you know, where there's no past and no future. There's only this moment.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. And I'm beginning to see that more and more.
Yeah.
You know, all of a sudden, all this 75 years of being around, it's coming together more. Whether I don't feel as I've got more time, but then time isn't, is it, anymore? And one of the other things that I have noticed, I've been down to Cornwall to my sister-in-law's, Rita. My brother died about 10 years ago, and her mum died when she was 11, and my brother met her about 11 at a Sunday school, and immediately she was welcomed into our family. And she's been like a real sister to me ever since. And what I've found is whatever happens to me, it's a reflection. We see each other, and whatever's happening to one of us is happening to the other one. And this morning, I texted her, said, "Oh, I've got to go and get ready. I'm on Zoom in 15 minutes." And she texted me and she said, "I've got to go and I'm going out to meet some friends, and I've got to get ready right now too." Whatever's happening to one of us is happening to the other one. And I've noticed for a little while, good while now, I feel it's a holy relationship. Yes. She's a reflection of me. So I just wanted to share those two things. Yes. Thank you for sharing your irritation and recognizing it immediately. And yes, and I can recognize that in myself as well. So yeah, thank you. Thank you, Ruth.
Thank you. Could it be that we're slowing down and that there is no stress of time when you slow down? You know, the miracles are happening absolutely all the time, the coincidences.
Yeah.
Because in truth, we're one.
Yes.
One ego mind as well.
Yeah. I do feel like Rita and I are one. A true holy relationship. Yes, I had a lovely time down there. I didn't even pick up my laptop, even though I took it. I didn't pick it up. It was so peaceful down there. So, yes, yeah. Thank you, Ruth.
Pleasure.
We'd like to share. Teresa, take yourself off mute.
unmute. Yes, thank you, Ruth. I loved what you said as well. I love real life examples, and and I used to, I still do, but less so now. What I used to do is, let me just put this. That's it. What I used to do is feel this irritation, but it was more like a massive ego attack where it would come so quickly, and you know, and I could hardly do anything. Like something would happen and I just have to walk out the shop in temper because either I wasn't being noticed or something, you know, something very much with my ego. And you know, I can still feel it sometimes, but at least I can notice it and make a decision before acting. And so it was lovely to hear your story about that, because I used to very much get, well, I'm not going to, if they don't want me to do it, I'm not going to do anything. And I was so entrenched with the ego, and it has lessened. And so thank you for sharing. That was lovely.
We suffer, don't we, when we let the ego mind take over?
Yeah.
And it's very cunning the way it jumps in. You know, I didn't realize I was thinking I was doing good for everybody doing the garden. You know, that was me, which was all ego, and it was pricked. And I thought, well, I'm the only one that's being aggravated, so I might as well drop it. Yes. Yes, thank you for that. It's very good, folks, to have personal examples, isn't it? It's well, it's not real, but the examples. Yes.
Would like to share? Norman, take yourself off mute.
Good morning, Ruth.
Good morning.
I have to admit, I had a certain reluctance to do what you were asking us to do. Thought came into my head, you know, I'm happy enough with the God I have, you know, don't particularly want an Indian one. But then I had a quiet thought, God won't mind one. So I thought, okay, I'll give it a go. And sure enough, you know, just about here, I started to get an image, and it was hands initially, and they were like this. And I couldn't really see the image behind it. It was sort of whitish and blurred, but there was, as you say, peace attached to it.
Mm.
And then there was a noise, and I lost it. So I thought, well, I'll try it again. And I put my hands up and you know, just looked at nothing really. And then the hands came back. And then I saw my shirt, but I couldn't actually see it because I was looking that way. But my shirt appeared where the color of it, where the face was before. But the face above that, all I could see was a scrawny neck like myself and a chin. And I think there was another noise, and then that went away. But then I tried it again, and the little bell or whatever it is that rang. So I'm not sure if that's valid or not, but I thought I'd mention it.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much for that. And we're all a bit like that. Do you usually just go for the silence, just into the space of the stillness of the silence in your meditation? Because that's what is here, and all the other things are images from the left brain, the ego, and they're useful, but we could be led along by this ego mind into a story. And what we're trying to do, well, we are doing, is entering the stillness. Heaven is spread on the face of the earth and we don't see it. But it's very comfortable, it's very peaceful, as I'm sure you know. And it's a case of just letting go, this one-pointed attention. And it doesn't really matter what it is, what your mantra is. It's just a splinter to get out a splinter, to be able to go back into your stillness, which is always there. Focusing the mind. We all need that training, don't we? Yes. So thank you very much. We all get led along.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I'll try it again sometime.
Sometime. Yeah.
Who'd like? Well, I'd just like to come in and say, Ruth, that was very helpful for me.
Yes.
You know, I often times when I meditate, I'll be quiet. I'll have a still mind for 30 seconds, then I'll bounce into a story somewhere. And
Yes.
help me with, when you're talking about like the body and the shoulders and the chin and the point up here. I did all that, and it was a lot more stillness. Still bounced into stories, but less. And so I really appreciate that. Thank you.
You look taller as well, Dan.
I'm growing.
Of course you are. Yes. Well, I asked the Maharishi, the Shaya Maharishi, a question. Was heavenly love, perfect love, possible in this earthly existence? And he said, it's the ego mind asking that question. You are love. There's no question about it. So we are complete and whole, and we are love. It's a wonderfully still group, this, isn't it? I feel very much in the center, that nothing else exists. I mean, all sorts of things are going on in this house, but just right now, there's nothing, just you.
Who'd like to share? Sandy, take yourself off mute.
And thank you, Ruth. That was lovely. Yes, I felt that really deep stillness and didn't want to come out of it or even talk for a while. It's just so beautiful. And the ego wanted to interfere initially, coming in with odd little bits, but I saw it straight away and just go, come and sit with me for a while, you know, hello. And straight away, it sort of just gave up what it was trying to do. And I just had that bit going through, be nothing, do nothing, relinquish nothing, be as you are, rest in God. And as soon as I thought that, there was a light bulb moment of realizing that God is everything, and I just dissolved into it all, which was really, really beautiful. And I went into that really deep space. So it was really, really fantastic. Thank you.
Yes, well, that's true, that in heaven, there is no talking. It's just perfect communication. And moments in this group, that is so. And there are no questions.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. It's a wonderful time just to share the stillness. So powerful. Don't you feel your shoulders going down and you're softening and widening? And there's no limits. That freedom is such a wonderful now. Yeah.
Vivian, take yourself off of mute.
It's rather amusing. I have to say, during that whole meditation, I'm in East Anglia, the RAF jets were doing their training program over the North Sea. And so, and across Norwich. So the noise was quite phenomenal, actually. But I think it's one of the lessons, is it 158? I rest in God. And I just kept bringing that in as a mantra, and actually did have moments where I really wasn't aware of the jets, and I did have the real feeling that I was resting in God. So I just thought I'd share that, because it was just so amusing that the jets were there at that time when this meditation was going on. But that lovely lesson, I rest in God, came to my rescue. So thank you very much, Ruth.
Thank you for sharing that. Yes. It's so powerful, the silence. Last time I spoke to you, we're in a semi-attached house and the chap next door was drilling holes in the wall. And I was quite upset about that, really. So I got to put myself on mute. But if you're focused, you don't hear it. That's the amazing thing. I had a yoga class in a little hall in the bottom of the garden. Well, it's a hut, really. And the chap next door was having a trench dug, and he had one of these super scooper diggers, you know, that takes out a great handful of earth, making a tremendous noise in their relaxation. So I said to them, when they stretched and sat up, I hope it didn't disturb you, the noise. And they said, what noise? And they hadn't heard it. They just heard that I was shouting rather than talking. So you can rise above it.
Okay, we're up to the top of the hour. Thank you so much, Ruth. That was wonderful. And
Thank you.
show your appreciation to Ruth.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ruth. That was wonderful. Really lovely.
Lovely.
Everyone.
Thank you.
very much.
Thank you,
Thanks so
everyone.
much.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Thank you. See you soon. Bye.
Bye.